Peace and blessings, family. May you have a good morning this day. I just wanted to share with y'all some information about abortions that I just seen on the news this morning. You know what I mean? And basically, the news reports was saying that this abortion nonsense is getting so ridiculous that they're going to have bulletproof and even bomb-proof vans that can perform an abortion. And these vans will be on the borders of states where abortion is legal. And similar to the slaves running from the plantation trying to find freedom, mothers that are trying to avoid abortions or have abortions or decide which state they want to live in or which state they may presently be living in, those mothers that are trying to have an abortion will have to escape from their state and make it across the border and try to get inside one of these abortion clinic vans, hopefully before somebody shoot them. I mean, and the person in the van, the doctors, whatever, that does the abortions, they have to make sure the vans are outfitted with security because people going to be trying to hunt them down, and you're going to have like I remember a few years ago when they was securing the borders of Mexico and they was trying to stop so-called illegal immigrants from coming into the United States, and ICE was running around, you know what I mean? Like, I remember years ago, I used to live out Exton, Pennsylvania. So out Exton, you had Mexicans that used to work at different businesses out there. And, you know, the polarity shifted where I seen Mexicans that used to work at places like Produce Junction. You know what I mean? They used to pick the berries and the fruits and the vegetables and pack them, unload the trucks, and do a lot of stressful and strenuous menial jobs that a lot of Americans just simply didn't want to do. They would do it, and they all just disappeared, and they start bringing in other people from Africa and things of that nature there, India. And I was curious, so I asked the manager, like, what happened to, because a couple of them was my friends. And it's like, oh, everybody had to get ghosts because ICE would come in here at any time and buy something to see them, and then they come back and, follow them home, raid the place, and try to lock them up on lunch breaks and things that they, and it's really pathetic that in a country that claims to be the leader of the free world, this kind of nonsense is actually taking place. And, Islamically, now I mean, as a Muslim, I personally don't believe that a child should have to decide who is going to be with this mother or this father or this mother and this mother or this father and this father, what have you. But that's my personal spiritual and scientific and political views. I would never think of making it illegal in a secular nation such as the United States of America that's claiming that this is a society where Muslims got to live with Jews, Christians, Buddhists, Hindus, atheists, gay, straight, black, white, so forth and so on. If America is that type of society, and that's what it's supposed to be, now I mean, it shouldn't be nobody's business what a woman does with her body, except for that woman, the baby's father, her personal family, if she's underage, her mother and father, if she's Christian, her belief in the Holy Bible, if she's Muslim, her belief in the Holy Quran. The same thing with the fathers, because fathers have rights too that is not recognized in the United States of America. I seen that in the Belly of the Beast, where I literally had to help a FOI years ago. The short version is his baby's mother was strung out on drugs, and the grandparent couldn't take care of the baby. So what the court did was basically take the baby and gave the baby to a Muslim baby. The baby was a GCC. He was incarcerated. They took his daughter and gave his daughter to a white family. And the brother was young, you know what I mean? He's fruit, but he wasn't racist or nothing. But his pain. I seen him crying. I was like, what's going on? So I took counsel, and basically they didn't even ask him. And I was like, what the? He's like, well, I still got to do another 8 years and this, that. And I'm like, nah, they violate your constitutional rights, your 14th Amendment rights against unlawful searches and seizures. And, I mean? So I took and filed a writ of habeas corpus for the brother, I mean? The great writ. And we argued, they moved his daughter in violation of her 13th Amendment rights, and his third, meaning slavery shall not exist. I mean, and the exception of unless one is duly convicted of a crime is basically an illegal injunction. And, we had to show all these harsh rules and stuff of that nature there. But long story short, the good thing was the argument that we won under the due process issue. You have to have what they call due process of law. And one of the things that we found out was that the family took the little girl's Muslim name away and gave her a Christian name. And the little girl wasn't a vegetarian, but she didn't eat pork. The family ate pork, so they gave the little girl pork to eat. Now, I mean, and the court basically got the little girl her name back, put her back on the diet, so forth and so on. But it just goes to show things that we think are rights in the United States of America are actually privileges. And, you got to understand there's no such thing as slave rights. You have slave privileges. You have an emancipation, not freedom. You know what I mean? You do not have freedom of speech. You can't call fire in a movie theater. So there's a lot of things that we think are rights that are not really rights. And politics and circumstances and finances and social issues can change those privileges. I mean, and one of the things you want to be mindful of as far as Muslims are concerned, when it comes to Islam, let's take the most Islamic let's take the most Islamic nation on the earth in the last 1500 years. Saudi Arabia, the holy city Mecca, now known as Mecca, Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, listen again, in Saudi Arabia, abortion is legal. Let me say that one more time, family, because there's a lot of politics and spooky stuff and knee-jerk reactions, and people just think that everything is cut and dry. In Saudi Arabia, abortions are legal. Not just Saudi Arabia. The majority of Muslim countries on this planet, abortions are legal. In Saudi Arabia, abortions are legal as long as the fetus is less than 4 months and the abortion is not being done because the mother fears poverty. If the mother fears that she's not going to be able to, or the father fears that they're not able to provide for the child physically or nutritionally or educationally. Saudi Arabia is smarter than America with this. They not only saying that the abortion is legal in situations where you fear poverty, but also if you fear poverty of the mind, meaning that you think that the child is not going to be able to afford to go to college, for example. That's not a valid reason to have an abortion. So in Islam, that is a law, and the Qurans and Prophet Muhammad, 1400 years ago, thoughts of peace be upon him, that is the criteria that they utilize. However, the mother can have an abortion if her life is in danger or if her mental life is in danger. So they look at the physical health of the mother and the mental or psychological health of the mother. Now, that's an important legal distinction right there, because when they say the mental or psychological health of the mother can be in danger, what they mean is If the mother is having an abortion because she was raped, if she suffered from incest, if she was drugged and impregnated against her will or without her knowledge, if the female is suffering from mental deficiency, like if a doctor or caregiver raped a mentally deprived or so-called retarded woman, that woman does not have to have a baby in Saudi Arabia or anywhere on earth. They can have a legal abortion according to the Saudi Arabian government. You're not going to hear this from a lot of religious people because they think that things are just cut and dry. But it's a balance there. There's a science there. Now, I mean, meaning that you can be, Saudi Arabia do not allow abortions through a pill, for example. Because in that country, if they just giving out abortion pills, there's no regulation. There's no safety net there. Now, I mean, so that thing is like they want to protect the rights of the fetus and protect the rights of the mother and protect the rights of the father and protect the rights of the grandparents and protect the rights of society. So they looking at it from a broader, more balanced perspective. But in situations where the fetus is going to suffer mental or physical extreme pain and suffering, abortions are also legal. Except in that country, you need 3 physicians to come testify to that fact, that scientifically, to the best of their knowledge. It don't mean it's a perfect system. It don't mean that every doctor know what they're talking about. Know what I mean? However, they are the experts. They do know better than you and I. Know what I mean? And superior wisdom should not be subjected to inferior wisdom, according to Messenger Elijah Muhammad. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was not for abortions, especially in this country, because it's not that we just fear poverty. Now, I mean, we shouldn't have abortions because we're afraid that the child going to have to grow up in the ghetto. Most of us grew up in the ghetto, and we're still here. Now, I mean, we survived. However, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wasn't for no abortions, primarily because he looked at it as a means of genocide. White people have been enslaving, raping, robbing, and murdering our people for hundreds of years. So like Pharaoh, like Caesar trying to kill Moses and fearing that the slave population is going to overpopulate Egypt at the time, or like Caesar trying to kill the firstborn because they want to maintain power, our people in this society, when it comes to black, brown, yellow, and red people, the census people want to try to track you down because their thing is they got to be mindful that in a democracy, the majority rules. So if blacks is 13, 15% of the population, and you got Hispanics, you got Asians, you got Mexicans coming across the border, whatever, then the oppressed can legally vote the oppressor out of office. They can put someone like Barack Obama in office by voting as a block. And you have states like Pennsylvania where you have large black populations like in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, and someone like Donald Trump would win, but the blacks in Alabama and Georgia and Pennsylvania and so forth, so they vote against Trump and Trump loses. Trump and them is going to be like, we got to try to figure this out. Now, we're going to stack the Supreme Court. We're going to stack the Supreme Court of these states, the U.S. Supreme Court in Washington, D.C., to make sure that our electoral college can get us in. Now, I mean, politically, I don't believe in none of the technology, but I did vote. Now, I mean, and when I vote, I only vote on the basis of should I get the big-sized devil, the medium-sized devil, or the little devil. Now, I mean, in my book, Trump was the big-sized devil. Biden was a medium-sized devil. Bernie was a little devil. Now, I mean, I like out of all of them, Bernie was more closer towards freedom, justice, and equality. The reason I like Bernie is because the Aryan Nation hated Bernie. They consider him a socialist. I mean, the Klan hated Bernie. They consider him a nigger lover. I'm like, okay, this white guy. Now, I mean, the enemy of my enemy got to be my friend, at least for now, under these circumstances. So I actually went to New York City. Now, I mean, it was out in the park when Bernie had his little rally. I even was in Philadelphia, down Center City, literally hours after my mom's funeral. We was going through the city. I think I was going home or something. I'm not sure. But Bernie happened to have a rally down there, and Dr. West was down there, and it was so chaotic. Now, I mean, he didn't have no security, and I knew him from back in his professor days. We used to communicate and all that. So I hollered at him, and he's like, "Oh, brother, I need you. He's like, "Come on." So he just took me with him, and I just became this personal bodyguard for the day. But we just had a little fun and flicked it up and things of that nature there. But but this abortion thing, it's so ludicrous and asinine that it sounds like a bad comedy movie. But I'm like, this is really happening. And as a minister of the Nation of Islam, it shows me that Elijah Muhammad is so right and exact. We're literally living in the fall of America. That's what you see going on. You can just turn the Cyclops on, turn the one-eyed monster on. Know what I mean? But I want y'all to be mindful that they are literally talking about making bulletproof vans and trucks and clinics that is going to be on pro-abortion states' borders, so that pregnant women can try to figure out how they're going to get across the border, like how they're going to run from this state to the next state so they can have abortion. That is ridiculous. Know what I mean? And it's like, this is the time where the oppressed are really going to have to organize themselves. We're really going to have to start uniting and really get active on all levels. Know what I mean? And one of the things that you want to be mindful of is that you have human rights. And contrary to what these politicians trying to trick you into believing, this is not a democracy or a demon rule. This is not a communist or socialist. This is supposed to be a republic. This is supposed to be a government of the people, by the people, for the people. Legally, scientifically, mathematically, the majority of the people are against abortions. So what is the issue? The issue is Trump used fraud and conspiracy and packed the U.S. Supreme Court with his flunkies and different state courts so that they can get this kind of controversy going, so that the people that's for abortion can gain war with the people that's against abortion, and the government are running, Trump and them running as the peacekeeper, and they rule the Republicans and the Democrats. They rule the blacks and the whites. They rule the pro-choice and the anti. They rule the people that's for the death penalty and against me. They rule to keep the people in prison and the people that want to get the brothers and sisters out of prison. They rule the poor and they rule the rich. They rule the blacks and they rule the whites. They rule the straight and they rule the gay. They rule the old and they rule the young. This is the tricknology of the devil. Wake up and stop being a reactionary to that tricknology.